Hi, hello. In this video I'll share 3 things that help me as an artist. Hopefully these things can help you as well. Alongside I'll show some time lapses of drawing Chongyun and Xingqiu from Genshin Impact. Let's get right into it. The first thing are habits or a daily routine. Especially if you don't have a job that demands you to show up at a specific time, it can be very important to form habits. For me it is. I rely on knowing when I should do something, so splitting my day up into different time slots is very useful to me. Also, you have different amounts of energy or a ability to focus each day, and you can work that into your routine. Another benefit of having a routine is that getting motivation to do something is not really necessary when you're used to it. For me, some days I might be more motivated than on others, but even if I don't want to do something at the moment, there are often times when you just get started with a task and then it gets easier to do the thing and you feel more proud afterwards. And as an artist, consistency, meaning you put in some time to improve on your art every day, is very important. That's why a schedule can be very helpful. Overall, when I started to have my own daily routine and focused on establishing one was in 2020 when the whole pandemic began. Before that, school kind of determined when I would do what in my days. I remember that back then I was starting to form a habit of working out, and through this I learned to just do things without having to be motivated for it, and that you get used to it. My personal routine then developed over time, and I overall discovered that dedicating times in a day to working, meaning drawing, then doing other tasks that are not as creatively demanding like social media, and relaxing really helps me. And here I'll show my current routine as an example how I split the hours of my days, and I don't strictly follow the times every day, but I just use this as a guideline. And depending on the projects I'm currently working on, or if I do something with my family or friends, on some days I have to go to university, so I can't follow this routine. But for example, what I mean with adapting the routine depending on projects, if for a week a YouTube video I'm doing requires a lot of editing, I will add more time for it and maybe take away some of my drawing time in the evening. If you're interested, I'd also enjoy talking more about routines and habits and how mine develop, and also what helps with determining what works for you and so on. It's important to come up with a daily routine or just habits that personally fit you. Every human has individual life situations and different personalities, so you shouldn't feel like you have to live the same way another person does and spending as much time on things as they do. But if you're lost and don't know how much time to spend, or you just want to restructure your day, looking at how others do it can be helpful. Just be aware of the differences between you and the other people. And it's good to get multiple sources of inspiration if you want to define your own routine. Now we move on to the second thing that helped me. This one is setting goals. Every once in a while this really helps with guidance and figuring out what to draw next, and also focusing on a few things or one thing at a time. Art in general can be pretty overwhelming, so there are so many different things you can learn and improve on. Goals can be improving on anatomy, drawing eyes, using more painterly shadows, drawing specific things like characters in a portrait or full body way, landscapes, drawing only with warm light or drawing without colors. Another goal could be to study another artist and draw some art inspired by it. You can set goals like these, but you can also, of course, also set goals where you have a clearly achievable result, like you draw 50 hands or something. If your goal is to just improve on something, then it can be hard to tell when to stop. It can make sense to really have a specific goal, how much time you want to spend each day on drawing something, or how many heads you want to draw, and so on. I recommend dedicating some time setting some new goals every once in a while, especially when you're unsure about what you want to draw next. And this second point goes hand in hand with the next third point. You can use what I talk about there to set new goals and determine if you've achieved yours. So let's go to number 3, which is reflecting. What I mean by that is either while you're drawing or after a whole project, you can evaluate what you like or didn't like about working on your art, as well as what you like or don't like about how it turned out. And from this you can then determine what you want to do next and change. As I mentioned before, you can set goals from it. And for me, I also get to reflect, since I'm a big planner and I like to organize my social media posts. You can already tell just by looking at my Instagram feed probably. For some reason I like managing it, as long as it doesn't take away too much time from drawing for me. It can be a bit relaxing. I have my Instagram posts planned for around 2 months in advance currently, since I drew a lot for some time and I also want to have a buffer. Currently I'm not drawing as much for Instagram since I'm spending more time studying. Then there are also things like setting up a new tablet and getting used to it. Maybe I'll talk more about this in another video. Also applying for an animation internship for university. So I'm slowly using up some of this buffer. Yeah, but I currently post once a day to Instagram, but I can imagine that will change to maybe 3 posts a week after some time. I'd also enjoy making a video about social media managing maybe. Anyway, back to the topic. Since I upload the things around 2 months after I finish drawing them, I can look back at what I did this way and see things I want to improve on and do differently. I can also tell how much I generally liked working on a project then, since it's been some time that I've worked on it. It's a bit similar to when you just watched a show. You'll notice which ones you really like most after a bit of time probably, rather than directly after you've watched it. The best shows or projects or artworks will stick in your mind and be more memorable. After some time you have more of an overview of what you draw. This is how I reflect on the projects. But then I also have one Notion document where I write things down I notice while drawing. It's kind of like a art diary. It really helps me also because maybe you also tried writing down your dreams before, and when you do this for some time you tend to remember more of your dreams. And it's similar with taking notes while you're drawing. When you write down some things, you tend to think more about what you notice while drawing, and maybe it's something that bothers you about your process, ways you could simplify steps, new ideas you have, or just in general what you struggle with. And I'll demonstrate what I mean by showing you some examples from this document. So here's the document, and you can see I have 3 different colors here. One for the struggles I had while drawing, then ideas or guides and other things, and some very rough over categories. And for example, this was about not having clear steps when working on a project, since I hadn't done something like it before. And a while ago I drew a lot of Genshin Impact characters, and because I drew so many of them, after doing around 5 of them I had a very streamlined approach and knew what to do with every document there. And here I just discovered how this made me feel disorganized and stressed that I didn't have this approach afterwards when working on a new project. Here just things I noticed: shading, okay, but could be more advanced, or color palettes. This is ideas, and this is also about kind of folder order and how to handle files. Then this was planning for a new project, what I want to include, about YouTube videos. Then here, as I mentioned before, setting up a new tablet. Here I am writing down the differences I noticed about getting a new tablet and so on. Yeah, that's how I would use these notes. Have you thought about these tips before and used some of the things I mentioned? Or do you have other similar things that help you? Leave a comment about it if you want to. Also, which one of the 3 things I mentioned seems most helpful for you as a person? I can imagine some people being better off without having a clear routine because they function best when they do whatever they feel like and get the most done that way. Also, there can be different ways of setting goals or reflecting. Do you like to be very clear and detailed with these things, including goals like improve at drawing eyelashes and reflection on gold, painting green highlights? Or do you prefer to set more general goals like improving at drawing hair, drawing animals, or just trying out new color palettes? I like to include both these types in my goals when reflecting, paying attention to some bigger and smaller things, but depending on what kind of person you are, you might prefer one over the other. In general, I hope you can take what's most useful to you individually from this video, and thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.